It's Valentine's Day for the cheers. Oh, what's going on, GameLeapers? Welcome back to another video. I hope you all had a great day of love with that special someone. That special someone for me was my right hand, and I've got a special present for you today. I'm going to be revealing the 10 biggest myths or misconceptions that players have across all elos. So if you're gold, if you're silver, if you're diamond, iron, every single one of us thinks that these 10 things matter and mean something when they don't. So by the end of this video, my aim is to change your mindset so that you can tackle solo queue with the mentality of a challenger and climb the ranks quicker than you have ever done before. Now, if you want guaranteed results and a gift for your ego, then get around our 50% sale on the GameLeap website. 50% off for the highest level courses, guides, and analysis, which thousands of others are benefiting from. Get clicking on one of the links in the description and comment section. Alright, let's get into it, and the first misconception that most of us have is one that is holding you back from climbing big time. Now, who thinks that duoing with someone is good? Come on, put your hand up. Now, I used to think it mattered as well, in the sense that, oh, I've got someone who can help me carry now. Guys, it's one of the worst things you can do, and here's why. You see, when you queue up with someone, it's like you're signing an invisible contract that stipulates you have to help your partner in crime out at all times. Like, who's been in that situation where your duo gets caught and you're like, oh, I've got to save my homie, and then you die straight after and you want to kill them? The reason you feel this urge to help them at all costs is because you're under the illusion that winning a game of League of Legends is influenced by whether you play with someone you know or not. First of all, on the Rift, you have no homies. You have teammates, and that's all they are. So your duo partner is just like any other teammate. They are no different to the last ADC you just had or the top laner you just had. They are in the same elo for a reason, and that is that they are at the same skill level. If anything, what duoing does is inhibit you from playing the best you can. The thing is, guys, that playing for yourself and only yourself is optimal League of Legends. The best example I can give you is as a jungler. Let's say your duo partner is a mid laner and he asks you to gank him when he has no mana and he's on 25% HP. Now, most junglers will not even think of ganking that lane if it wasn't their duo, but because they cried about how hard their lane is for a few minutes, you go to try help them out of pity. Unless you've brought a duo boost or someone off ego GG, then believe in only the solo of queuing. Now, this leads me into my next tip, which is going to help you get rid of one thought that is costing you serious LP. Now, I just mentioned that your duo is like any other teammate. Well, this is the point I want to make here. When you are in the loading screen and on the Rift, the only detail that matters is the champions, not the players. Now, it might sound whack, but let me give you an example. Most players, if they have, let's say, Faker playing Veigar mid, most of them are going to run mid, whether they are a jungler or a support, a top laner, heck, even an AD carry, just because it's hide on bush. Now, the bush may matter on Valentine's Day, guys, but on the Rift, all you should care about is the fact you have a Veigar mid who just wants to chill and scale. He doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to use mana for a kill that's very unlikely to happen, so this is a common trap that all of us have fallen into at some point, and you might even be falling into it right now. Placing more importance on the summoner name than the champion name. Like, I bet you've seen this in action when you watch high elo players. They will have either champion name turned on in their interface settings, or they won't have anything at all. It will just be blank, and you must do this too. What a summoner name really is a distraction. It draws your attention away from what really matters in a game. So focus on the champions and the matchups, guys, and you will win way more. Right now, how many of you think every game is winnable? Because I've heard this a million times, and I'm sure you guys have too. Being optimistic is good, but this is like me saying TSM are going to win Worlds. It's never going to happen. I mean, just having unachievable expectations as well is going to make you very upset when these things don't actually happen. Now, let me tell you something that will change the way you think about League and fix this problem. Winning and losing means nothing. These are both results of a game. What we do in the game itself is what matters. For example, I have students who tell me they had a bad day on the Rift, and I look at their OPGG and it says they've got ace in all of their losses, so they played the best on their team. But they think that seeing blue or red is the be-all and end-all. Guys, seeing victory or defeat is a byproduct of how you play in that game, and how you as a team played. And guess what? This byproduct is never going to be 100% wins or 100% losses. But we can influence that outcome by playing as well as we possibly can. That's all anyone can expect. Like, if you give it your all, no one can ask for anything more. That's winning. So when the losses come and you want to trampoline off your new Logitech mouse with 25 buttons, accept them. They are part of the process. They are innate to rank solo queue. Like Apto, for example, do you guys think he wins every game? Or Faker? Everyone cops L's, but the difference between these dudes at the top to the rest is that they take them in stride. That's because all they care about is how to get that result, not what the result actually is. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you have learned or do learn anything from this video, let me know by smashing that like button down below, and I also want to know what you think the biggest misconception League players have, so get that typewriter going in the comments. Alright, I'm going to say two words that everyone who has ever played ranked has heard of. Elo Hell. And what I'm about to say is going to help you out enormously. You see, Elo Hell is like Lord Voldemort in the wizarding world. You shouldn't say his name, but to us, he doesn't exist. He is fictional. Well, this is what Elo Hell is. It's a concept made up to make players feel better about being hard-stuck or clamped. It's an excuse. That's what it is. Like if an Elo Hell did exist, then no one gets to challenge her. But guess what? Those top tier players get there because they play above that level of play, and though it may seem hard to accept, if you are in Platinum, it's because you are simply not playing like a diamond. If you're in Silver, you are not playing like a gold, and if you're an Iron, then God help you. But seriously guys, when you say I'm stuck in Elo Hell, you are essentially admitting to yourself that you are not good enough to climb out of that rank. You're just putting a band-aid on it. So if you have a 50% win rate or you've been in the same division and tier for a while, understand that's because you are playing like someone at that rank, and to get out of it you have to improve. Now it might sound quite hard-hitting, but it should be motivating. You have the chance to get better, it's just whether it means enough for you to take it or not. Right now I copped a bit of flack in my Challenger days because guys, believe it or not, I played Shaco 95% of the time. And even though I was the best in the infamous Oceanic region, and at times the best in the world in terms of LP and yeah, according to some websites, I would get called a one trick as if me playing strictly one champion was a bad thing. You see guys, I believe that to achieve the most in this game, especially if you don't basement dwell and have other things to do, is to play only a few champions because that will maximize your gains on the Rift. Like I would rather be the best in the world at one champion than just average at 20. So when you hear someone say champion diversity really matters bro, that's because they haven't actually mastered a champion, and when you look up their account it says 47% next to win rate. Guys, mastering one champion, just one, takes a long as time, and I bet the champions we've put a lot of time into, we still haven't yet mastered. Like if you've played 100 games of Zed, that is nowhere near enough to know everything from runes and builds, to matchups and combos, to champion interactions and just general gameplay. So here's what I want you to do. Open up your OPGG and count the number of champions you have played in your last 20 ranked games, and I want your answers in the comments too. If this number is over 3, if it's 5, 10, 20, well if it's 20 you might have to DM me. Get rid of some of them. Forget they exist and put the time you have on League into just a few champions. What's funny is that playing a lot of champions is just wasting time in itself because you lower your chances of winning consistently, and isn't that what we all play ranked for? Okay, we're halfway through the tips guys, and these next 5 are going to be quick fire, so I hope you're paying attention. Stop KSing Jizz, stop taking my kills man. Dude, kill stealing is such a big problem eh? Now who has heard one of these before? Well hopefully not the Jizz one, but yeah, for some reason players especially in low elo think that kill stealing is a bad thing. Well, very rarely is it a bad thing. If your support takes 1,000 gold shutdown when that champion was 100% dead, yeah, okay, you have a point. But at 99% of cases, this KSing that people tend to call it doesn't stand for kill stealing, it's kill securing. Now the underlying reason why KSing is good is because it saves time, and that's what League is. If you make more out of your time on the Rift than your opponent, you have a better chance of winning. So if your 1 in 10 jungler happens to get a kill that could have been yours, who cares? You got the kill quicker, which means you can make use of that numbers advantage you have sooner. Do not play with your food guys, get the kill ASAP and stop thinking that every KS is a kill steal. Now I've also experienced my fair share of this as a jungler, and this applies to laners too, so all of you need to listen up to this. Now when you die solo in a 1v1, me missing my Q on Krugs did not change that fact. I hate to break it to you, I really do, but when you die and spam ping your jungler or you spam ping your support, you're the one who hit the deck, and that teammate had nothing to do with it. So again, this is just a form of shifting the blame to make yourself feel better. You've got to be honest with yourself guys to improve, otherwise yeah, you are going to be stuck. So next time you die, just ask yourself, could you have done something better? And that answer is always yes. Now this next tip is related to the last, and it's going to give you a new perspective that will stop you from losing games on the rec. And before we do, one last friendly reminder to check out the GameLeap website for that fat 50% sale. By signing up guys, you get access to all of our exclusive content, so if you want more of Jizz and Co in your life, what are you waiting for? Links down below. Right now, when we fall behind in lane, let's say you are that mid laner who dies in a 1v1, most of these players then expect their jungler to get them out of that hole. What do you guys think? Is this good or bad? Well, this is bad. That hole is going to get bigger, and it's going to be harder to get you out of because of this. When you are behind, you are the least likely to get your team to that enemy nexus. You have the least gold, you have the least experience. Meanwhile, the enemy mid laner has all the resources in the world. Now, if the enemy team is smart, they will want to protect that champion, right? So likelihood is, when you do get a gank, you and your jungler die this time, so you put them behind too. The double whammy, and the game is done. So when you're behind, you have to realize, guys, that you are the furthest away from winning, and playing around the weakest lane is one of the cardinal sins in the game. Right now, another cardinal sin that is one of the most popular, and is one that I always point out to students because it's just a load of BS, is this. Guys, if you're someone who has that Blitz GG app installed so that you can measure your CS against what's expected in your elo, get into your control panel, programs and features, and give it the big uninstall. This is just an unnecessary pressure that does way more harm than good. Yes, CSing is important, that's not what I'm saying. Your goal is to try last hit as many minions as possible, and guess what? Every game is different, and that stupid stat in the top right doesn't take that into account. For example, you might be playing in a really hard matchup one game because you got counterpicked, and there was a massive level 1 fight. If you have 10 CS at 5 minutes in that game, the only other stat that matters is the number your opponent has. So when you see Doublelift's head in the top right of your screen, and that's after seeing him before this video started, what on earth does it do for you? It means nothing, so get rid of it. Now this last tip I'm going to give you guys is one for the masses, and this will fix that CS stat of yours immediately and winning percentage. The laning phase ends at 15 minutes. Would you guys agree? Oh yeah, would you? Well, it doesn't. Laning phase continues throughout the game. This is why in every gold and silver game, everyone abandons their lane to sniff the mid lane for the rest of the game. Not only are you starving yourself of golden experience, but also your teammates. You're stepping on their toes. It's still efficient to farm top and bot lane when the game opens up, guys. You never want to be losing valuable resources just so you can pay off your 4 teammates. So I hope this helped you change your perspective on the Rift and what a winning mentality is all about. Please subscribe, guys, before leaving and turn on all notifications if you haven't already. This has been Coach Ease, and until tomorrow's video,